So I want to introduce you to Rima Aristocrat, who is the chairwoman of Willis College and the founder and president of TechnoWave. Rima Aristocrat is the current chair of the 154-year-old Willis College, offering industry-led, job-ready skills training and education, enabling adults to transition into careers in business, healthcare, technology, and cybersecurity. Elle est la fondatrice de l'Association canadienne des professionnels des immigrants, fondatrice et présidente de TechnoWave, la première initiative nationale de formation en TI pour les Autochtones au Canada. Elle est directrice fondatrice du Veteran Friendly Transition Program, fondatrice de la Willis CyberSecurity Academy, fondatrice de Willis Women in Technology et des bourses A Soldier's Hero pour les conjoints militaires. She has received numerous national and international recognitions for her contribution to post-secondary education, as well as many recognizing her status as a woman leader in cybersecurity. Rima, we're all ears.
Thank you, Christine, and good morning, everyone. Happy Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And thank you, Christine, for this wonderful introduction. By the way, I have to say that your opening remarks yesterday and today was breathtaking, and your virtual lab looks so beautiful that any other countries will be envious of it. I would also like to thank the Canada School of Public Services Digital Academy for inviting me today to share with you some of my experiences and best practices. Chairwoman is a new role for me. Before becoming a chairwoman, I was the president and CEO of Willis College for over 30 years. To give you some of the information on how I ended up in cybersecurity, I think it is important to share some of my experiences and introduce you to Willis College. Christine already introduced some of my roles in different organizations I've played, therefore I'm not going to repeat it again. But I am most proud of our latest involvement in federal roundtable discussions, consultations, global forums to better understand why women are not engaging cyber defense. In partnership with the Invest Ottawa at University of Ottawa, we are hosting annual global forum consultations. And in fact, our next global forum takes place March 10th. Now, even though I have done all that, I must admit that I am not technical at all. For that, I rely on Willis College's subject matter experts who are willing and ready to provide you with any technical information you might need. In 2018, the European Cybersecurity Observatory contacted me to interview for their Cybersecurity Leader of the Week publication. I told them that they must have a wrong person. I am the founder of TechnoWave, but in technology, I was a techno virgin. But they were not looking for a technical person. They wanted to know more about critical role and education and skills training in cybersecurity. Well, I guess my responses got me inducted into Cybersecurity Hall of Fame, Canada, US, and France, and for that I was very grateful. It's through serving on cybersecurity organization boards like INSICAM, presenting to the local, national, and international events like this, that I have met and learned so much about the human side of cybersecurity. I hope to share this knowledge with you today. 2 years ago, I was on a panel at the CyberNB in New Brunswick global event, talking about the crucial role of education and skills training in cybersecurity. There, I watched the presenter from Israel company demonstrating their best practices model in establishing their talent pipeline. I saw audience making a note on every slide, and I thought of myself, wait a minute here. Is it what we do already at Willis and how we established our multi-vendor cybersecurity academy? That evening, I met the presenter and gave him an overview of the Willis Cybersecurity Academy model. The presenter was surprised to learn about it and wondered why I was not sharing and using this as our best practice model. You see, we have some amazing subject matter experts, women in cybersecurity, educators, and some awesome best practices in Canada. We have organizations like Cybersecurity Center and the CSCs that folks doing an amazing job there. No need to reinvent the wheel. We simply need to share and adopt our own best practices. And events like this permits us to do just that, to learn, to network, to connect. Now allow me to introduce you to Willis College. Christine already gave some information about the Willis's age, but what I really wanted to discuss a little bit about it is agility. Yes, Willis College offers industry-led, job-ready skills training and diploma programs under 1 year in technology, business, and healthcare. Our curricula is agile. We are able to adopt and suit emerging needs. Willis has established dynamic relationship with industry leaders such as Sophos from UK, Fortinet from California, Checkpoint from Israel, Microsoft, Calian, KPMG, and with the government organizations such as the DND and the Canadian Armed Forces. Willis College's flagship program, Cybersecurity Analyst Program, is recognized by the Canadian Armed Forces and the Department of National Defense. And recently, Willis was chosen to be an exclusive trainer for the Canadian military. Willis will be teaching the CSA program to new cav recruits who will become cyber operators, helping to protect our country from cyber threats. The Willis College CSA program is a cooperative education and program where end of the program students go on a job placements for several months. Willis was recently approved by Public Service for a student placement. Currently, we are working with the DND, SSC, ESDC, the Privacy Commission of Canada, the Canada Border Services Agency, Office of the Auditor General of Canada, and the House of Commons for student placements. And we are really looking forward to collaborate with each and every department for future placement. So if any of you out there, any department has any need for a cyber talent, please don't hesitate to contact us. Our students are working in various roles such as IT specialists, system administrators, server managers, network security, technical support, vulnerability assessment, ethical hacking, penetration testing, digital forensic, and a cybersecurity analyst. Willis College is located Ottawa for 154 years. We have Armbrier campus. Our new campus is Winnipeg, and a recently established Willis online campus will enable our Canadians nationwide to access that education. Now, a little bit about the event that we are involved in, human side of cybersecurity. What is the human side of cybersecurity? People are at the heart of cybersecurity, from technology creation to testing to use and abuse. A lot of this field is fundamentally about how people interact with technology. Fields like sociology, psychology, behavior economics, and marketing can teach us so much about people, how we think, why we behave as we do, what can motivate us, and what can undermine us. This knowledge is crucial in cybersecurity because we need to engage and empower people. One of the most common mistakes the organization makes is using the fear to drive change. Cybersecurity professionals sometimes fall into the trap, thinking that they can scare people into security. Of course, we need to talk about the threats, but we need to do this in a responsible and constructive way, or we will actually find that our messaging backfires A strong fear-based message can actually lead to people engaging in less secure behaviors. Commitment of your people to protecting your organization is an essential component of the strong cyber defense. This means that critical part of your cyber strategy must be focused on the human aspects of organization, on developing a positive security culture that is grounded in employees' attitudes, evident in the behaviors people exhibit, especially when no one is looking, and which is reinforced by the actions of leaders. We need to understand how we people are affected by cybersecurity, how we are in a part of the problem, and how can we become actually solutions instead of problem. Poor personal practices will eventually get past all the impressive cyber technology, so we need to learn to reduce the risk by improving our behaviors. Now let me touch a little bit on our topics. What is the cybersecurity? I would like to share some opinions and informations from the subject matter experts. Human nature. Some insights into why we sometimes do what we should not be doing and sometimes don't do what we should be doing. Cybersecurity best practices. It would be my pleasure to share with you Willis College Multi-Vendor CyberSecurity Academy model and continuous learning and collaboration. Some resources that you can use to continue your path of learning regarding cybersecurity's best practices. Regarding my topics about what cybersecurity is, I would like to give you a definition that was given to me by a very learned friend of mine. 2 years ago, Willis College was hosting Cybersecurity Awareness Month and invited Dr. Mansour Hazib from Maryland as a guest speaker. Dr. Mansour is known as a Dr. Cybersecurity. And he gave a definition of the cybersecurity that I found it fascinating, and I repeat and cite him every opportunity I have. And it says, cybersecurity is the mission-focused and risk-optimized governance of information, which maximizes confidentiality, integrity, and availability using a balanced mix of people, policy, and technology, while perennially improving over time. So every time we listen about the cybersecurity, every presenter talks about importance of the people, because technology cannot happen by itself. We, people, create the technology, so you cannot take a people out of the cybersecurity. Other subject matter experts have said that cybersecurity consists of policies, procedures, and technology we use to help protect our data and our digital identities at home and at work. And we have heard amazing speakers yesterday, and you're going to hear some of that today that talk about the importance of them as well. It is more than just protecting our computer data. It's also protecting our well-being, our financial well-being, emotional well-being, personal privacy, and most of all, reputation. Part of the definition that says we use is crucial, because cybersecurity is not a magic. We have to know how to use it properly in order to be effectively protected. Now, let me touch a little bit about the risks, vulnerability, exploits, threats, and attacks. As most things in life, and we are aware of it, we all know, knowledge is the key. In cybersecurity, this knowledge consists of knowing your risk, what valuables can be damaged or lost, and planning how to protect them. Finding your vulnerabilities. The weakness and flaws in system can practice and that can be compromised, practices can be compromised to get at your valuables. Being aware of the exploits, the tricks and methods that nefarious actors can use to get through your vulnerabilities to access your valuables. Identifying the threats. Are they outside actors, hackers on the internet, inside actors, employees, or man-made or natural disasters? Knowing when you are under attack. An exploit is in progress, so you and your cybersecurity system take action to limit the damage, mitigate. With this knowledge, we can put measurements in place to protect valuables. Whether the valuables are organizational data files and the system, or personal information, identity and reputation. We cannot protect ourselves if we don't understand what cybersecurity is. Organization CEOs, CFOs, managers who are not technical must understand cybersecurity leadership in order to better understand CISO's position. And that can only come from education. Human nature. To start my topic of human nature, I would like to tell you a story. Willis College was hosted cybersecurity presentation given by key members of cybersecurity operations unit of the Canadian Armed Forces. When they were asked what the biggest risk in the cyber landscape was, without any hesitation, the response was people. So we may sometimes be the weakest link in the cybersecurity, but people can also be the greatest strength. How can we improve our personal and professional cybersecurity? One way is by understanding our behaviors and understanding how to motivate people to change those bad behaviors and have made the military think that we are the biggest risk. Why do we do the things we should not do, or do we things that we should be doing? We don't do the things that we should be doing. When people are most empowered, when they feel more able, they are more likely to engage with the recommended behaviors. Actively challenging the stereotype removes the burden and feeds people to concentrate on the risk and task at hand in front of them. Clearly, we need to stop saying that users are stupid and that security mistakes are their own. When we do this, we make it harder for people to perform well. Instead of understanding people, let's start spread and more empowering messages, and let's celebrate each other's achievements and what we have learned. Let me touch a little bit about the cybersecurity best practices, which I'm most proud of. Some of the experts that presented yesterday have already demonstrated a lot of the cybersecurity practices to everyone. And this is where I wanted to give a shout out to CSC. They're doing an amazing job out there, and they're doing so much and providing us so much help and information. My hats off to you, everybody working there. Instead, I would like to share with you Willa's multi-vendor cybersecurity academy model best practices. 6 years ago, industry leaders from US came to Willis College with ask. They wanted to expand their business, but could not do it without having a talent pipeline to hire more right people. They expressed that universities were not an option for them because it would take 4 years to graduate people, and they were looking for an agile college who could design, train, and provide them with a talent in just 1 year. The organization was Fortinet from California. It was interesting how they flew their VP from California, professional services manager from New York, technical people from Vancouver for a 3-day consultation. Fortinet provided what they already have. Willa shared with them our curricula, and Fortinet provided us skill sets they needed and no one had it. Fortinet provided Willis College with their equipment, ongoing support, and consultation. Willis College curricula developers, in consultation with the industry, developed many additional courses. The courses that they were most interested in was the business communication courses. They wanted to make sure that employees could talk to their high-level enterprise clients. The program had to be approved by the ministry, instructors were certified, and then we started delivering training. Fortinet hired almost all of the graduates for their Ottawa location. 1 year later, Sophos from UK cybersecurity organization followed the Fortinet's steps. Later on, Checkpoint from Israel. So you see, our multi-vendor cybersecurity academy is outfitted with industry leaders' equipments, knowledge, and support. Sophos also requested to help them to bring them in Ottawa, and we did, and Sophos is now has an Ottawa location. And we are proud to say the majority of the Sophos Ottawa is staffed by Willis graduates. This is how the multi-vendor cybersecurity academy was created. You see, you hear people talking the importance of the collaboration, importance of industry getting together with academia, getting together with government, and getting together with the community. And a lot of places, a lot of organizations already do this. But having all of that under the one roof and under the one stop, it was very rare and very unique. Now continuous learning and collaboration. My next topic is continuous learning, collaboration, and why it is important. The cybersecurity threats landscape is always changing. Hackers are always finding new weaknesses in our system to exploit, or new tricks to social engineer us. This week, the biggest threat might be phishing emails. Next week might be a security flaw in the middle of the devices. Because things change so quickly, and often we need to be consciously learning about current cybersecurity issues and ways to mitigate. There are a number of online resources available so that you can increase your cybersecurity knowledge, such as the Canadian Center of Cybersecurity, the SENSE Institute, the NIST initiative from our American neighbors, and of course, Willis College. If you are interested in approximately 2-hour-long webinar from Willis College covering many aspects of the cybersecurity best practices, please contact rob.wilson@williscollege.com to make arrangements. He will be more than happy to give you such presentation. We are in a battle of cyber attacks. It is easier to defend your valuables with a team or army on your side than it is to do it alone. So we need to collaborate. There is a strength in the numbers and strength in sharing. Citizens, government, industry, and academia can help each other achieve greatest level of cybersecurity through information sharing and working together. That's why I'm so grateful that you are organizing events like this, so we can learn more, we can connect, and we can network. See, individually, one person is like one finger on a hand, but like one finger is one, doesn't have much power. But if you close your fist and fingers together, even they are all different sizes, you will see the strength in it. So coming together as one cooperative unit are also stronger. So coming together with others is very, very important. Maybe one person or organization has a knowledge, another has the ability to execute the plan, and so on. Together we can improve. It is my hope that Canada will be soon included in the top 10 cybersecurity innovation hub besides US, UK, and Israel. And strength is created and exists within us in Canada. I know we can. In closing, I would like to thank you all for time today. I hope my presentation has given you some ideas on how to improve your cybersecurity using techniques rooted in human behavior and technology. I would like to close with the following thoughts and maybe as a takeaways. Cybersecurity is people-powered, perennial innovation. The power of people, constantly creating new and better ways of securing our resources via technology, via methods, is a fuel. Perpetual innovation is the key to organization success. The cyber threats landscape is always changing. If organizations are not constantly evolved to stay ahead of the threats, they might not succeed. Culture starts with values. Culture of good cybersecurity practices starts with the values expressed, encouraged by the leadership. When those values become second nature, culture is achieved. Ethical leadership fosters a culture of innovation. Leadership must invest time and money if it is serious about innovation in cybersecurity. Grassroots cybersecurity efforts may spontaneously spring up, but it takes leadership to make those flourish. Thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing your feedbacks. Christine?
Thank you so much, Rima, for this very interesting presentation. And thank you for your commitment through organizations like Willis College for investing in the education of a diverse population, because people from all backgrounds are what is going to make cybersecurity more resilient in the future. I appreciate that you touched on questions of psychology, because underlining that, humans, they may be sometimes the weak link, but they are our strength as well. And they are, through collaboration, the way through which we will be able to get through all these complex and difficult cybersecurity issues. As well, I like how we talked a little bit about questions of well-being and understanding that knowledge is important to protect ourselves and to educate ourselves and ultimately become more comfortable in this cybersecurity environment of ours. And thanks for the shout out to CSE and its Cyber Center. Now we will proceed to with an Ask Me Anything fireside chat with Rima. All participants can start asking their questions and they can submit them through clicking on the raised hand icon. Donc, vous pouvez soumettre vos questions à n'importe quel moment en cliquant sur l'icône qui ressemble à une main levée. J'aimerais inviter Neil Bauer, vice-président responsable de l'innovation et des services stratégiques à l'École de la fonction publique du Canada, à faire l'animation de cette discussion. Neil has a vast and rich career in the Government of Canada. Prior to having worked at CSPS, he served as an assistant deputy minister at TBS, NRCan, CFIA, and PCO, as well as having held a variety of executive positions at FinTrack, HRSDC, and the Business Development Bank of Canada. Neil, thank you for accepting to moderate this discussion.
Thanks, Christine. And first of all, thanks, Rima. What a great presentation. Really, really great to listen to all of the different themes that you raised. A few key takeaways for me is that we're not going to take people out of cyber. Everyone is involved. I love the acronym or the phrase people-powered perpetual innovation, and the idea of understanding your risks and continuously learning as those risks evolve. Absolutely fantastic. First off, I just want to reinforce what Christine said. If you exit full screen mode and click on the raised hand, your camera won't pop on, your voice won't pop on. You'll just get a little box where you can ask a question and you can submit the question. So please do that. This is an Ask Me Anything session. so please ask a question. Also, this is the human side of cybersecurity, so I invite you to pursue that in your questioning. Neither Rima or I are technical experts, so we can't help you there, although Rima did point to some great resources that are available to you. Maybe I could just start it off, Rima. You were touching on the model at Willis College being a partnership. I think you called it multi-platform. I would be interested in hearing you talk a little bit more about it. And I think you mentioned the cybersecurity analyst program, which might be of interest to people that are participating in this session. So if you could just tell us a little bit more about that program and maybe others that you think are pertinent.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you so much for inviting me today to present some of the best practices. Well, everywhere you look, everything you read talks about the shortage of the talent today. And organizations are in a desperate need to create a talent pipeline. They need to expand their businesses. And that was probably the reason why Fortinet, about 6 years ago, approached Willis. And they needed somebody agile in order for them to have access to talent shortest period at a time. But graduates had to have the skill sets enough for them to send them out, and the clients will be coming back. So I was very surprised when the vice president of the Fortinet, they are actually a Fortune 500 company right now from California, approached us with the ask, and the first person they contacted was me. And as you know, and I've already shared with everybody, I am not technical. So they were talking the terminology terms that was going over my head. And I said, hold on, just tell me business side of it. What is it that you wanted to achieve? And they said, we wanted to expand and we need to create the pipeline, talent pipeline. So I said, how are you proposing to do this? I need your technical experts, your curriculum developers to show me what you had. Show me your capability in designing, developing, and training fastest period at a time. And so we can hire from you. When I heard the word hire, because Willis College exists only for one thing, employability of our graduates. So that was a key for me to say, no problem. So I put together immediately a team from Willis College and our IT manager, subject matter experts. And that time, we were not really teaching cybersecurity analysts. We were teaching the network security and help desk specialists and so forth. But we were incorporating industry certifications. We were working with the industry to making sure, besides the diploma Willis students got out of the Willis, also had the industry certification as a proof that they were able to perform. So they arrived from everywhere, as I mentioned, and we sat down, and it was very easy. When people ask how difficult it is to create a multi-vendor cybersecurity, really you don't need the technical people, even in the human side of it. Simply sit down and talk, what is it that you like to achieve? Same thing we do, we go to employers and ask, what would you like to see our graduates has? And it was because it was in a relaxed manner, it was a sort of more very respectful manner and a lot of jokes, and I love to joke. And Neil, I'm also the hugger. Unfortunately, COVID-19 doesn't allow me to hug anybody lately, but most people know that. I said, oh, good, I have the opportunity to get to a new team, new family members. So we sat down and they shared what they had. They did not have a Fortinet Cybersecurity Academy. And I actually shared my experience that I was the only Canadian represented Canada at the Microsoft Education Advisory Board when we actually developed the IT. It was a different name that time. It was 25 years ago. It was AATP. Then it became Microsoft IT Academy. And I said, I can share with you how to do the academy. So we developed the courses, we implemented, but we cannot just deliver courses because it has to be approved by the ministry. So, but it took us 3 months. So they thought, so it's going to take a couple of years for you to do this. I said, oh gosh, no. It's if the ministry will cooperate with us, it will not take more than 3 months. So we did that. But what was the key and importance? How they worked with us. And that time, Jason Kenney was the minister of the human resources. And he actually visited Willis College because he wanted to learn, what did we do? How did we do this job creation model? And it was very important for them to provide us their equipment. And those were what they announced. I remember the Wall Street Journal even announced that press release, $1 million investment. What does $1 million investment means? Nothing was in actually cash. It was in equipment. It was in support. It was in ongoing contributions and upgrading and training our instructors and making sure what we were delivering, it was properly done. They would interview prospective student ahead of time, and they would say, you have a makeup to work with Fortinet. Now go take this course, and if you pass, we will consider hiring you. And that's exactly what took place. Middle of the program, because our program is always 52 weeks, half days, team would come and give them exams and interview them and support them morally, support them technically. And they were already prepared. By the time they graduated, they were like working at Fortinet because they worked on their equipment anyway. So that model was very successful. And again, it's people. It was not technology. It's people who wanted to make this happen. I kept telling the vice president, I said, you and I wanted to make this happen, and that's why it happened. Then when the Sophos UK found out, and I remember receiving an email saying, Rima, you sitting down? I said, oh, first of all, I had no idea what Sophos was. I said, we send you something. Can you repeat exactly what you did with Fortinet? On the top of it, we brought them in Ottawa. That means we created more job creation for Ottawa market. So I remember our mayor, Jim Watson, attended official opening, and it was a very good relationship, very good model of the job creation with establishing a cybersecurity pipeline. I remember CEO of the Fortinet went to Las Vegas, and he had a 3,000 people audience. At that time, we didn't have a COVID, so people actually attend everything. And he demonstrated this little facet and said, we created cybersecurity pipeline with this little college called Willis in Ottawa. At that time, nobody knew where Ottawa was or who Willis was. But because the model was so successfully, because they were able to expand their business, and they were just a multi-million-dollar company and later became a billion-dollar company. I actually remember NASDAQ announced their shares went up because of partnership with Willis. I made a joke that, well, couldn't somebody tell me I could have bought the shares, but I didn't know that. And later on, it's incredible. It's all human side. It's all how you interact with people. It's all about the trust. And it's very important also to be honest. You cannot tell people, if you don't know something. You need to be honest about it. Nothing wrong saying that I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. So same thing was after repeated with a checkpoint. And that's what probably got us the level we are today. And even when I do that international speaking about it, people still wanted to know, how can we do it? It's easy to do it. Here is the model. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. So that's how it happens.
Amazing. Well, speaking of people, we do have a couple of questions related to your students. So one question is related to age. So one of the questions, I won't read it exactly, but basically says, do you take age into account? The person asking the question says they may be nearing retirement. Is this still relevant for older students? And also seeing the Women in Technology scholarships behind you, also just on gender, what are you seeing in terms of the students who are taking cybersecurity in terms of age and gender?
Well, beautiful question. Thank you for those questions. See, there's a difference between education and the skills training. Education is universities, leave it up to the community colleges when they get a degree and takes 3-4 years. Skills training for somebody who's transitioning from a profession. So our student body are adults. We have a young generation. We have from 20-year-old to the 65-year-old. But they wanted to change the career. They want to transition fastest period of time. In our classrooms, I'm amazed and actually honored who sometimes we have sitting people. They are lawyers, they are medical doctors, they have a PhDs, and I'm going, oh my God, how can we impress them? They have a more education than we do, but they need this shorter period at a time to get a new updated skill sets, because, as you know, cybersecurity career is lucrative today and pays very well. So when it comes to the age, really all kinds. It's adults who are trying to transition themselves from employment and get a better empowered employment, and making sure that they have proper instructions and the leadership, because there is a big difference in education as well. I worked with a lot of professors. I love them. I admire them, but I couldn't even understand because their level was so high. So our subject matter experts in the classrooms are blessed with ability to communicate and send the message to them. And sometimes they share experiences that's not in a book, because anybody can read in what's in a book. So those are the important aspects of it. So because of that, see, in one class you have a 20-year-old, you have a 35-year-old, and you have a 50-year-old. And it's very difficult to communicate with all of them, because you need a very, I'm a concert pianist, so for me everything is a symphony. So you need a really good conductor to make sure the symphony is working. So there is no age difference. There is no prerequisites to what experience they have. As long when we're talking about the cybersecurity, it's important that the person is ethical, because we're talking about protecting our lives, our families, and willing to learn. A lot of work goes with that. It's not easy. I wouldn't say it's easy. Hands on to actually heads off to all my graduates. I say, you're my hero. I have 3 degrees and you cannot make me to go in a class to learn this. When it comes to the question of the woman, see, I have 4 daughters and 4 granddaughters. It's very important for me to make sure the girls are not left behind. 30 years ago, in the other industries, women were told, you cannot be a plumber, you cannot be a drywall. So we missed out completely that sector of the development and the careers. We need more people in the cybersecurity. Reason that women are afraid to go in the cybersecurity, cyber defense, because the terminology, we're scaring people. And actually mothers telling the daughters, don't go there, just become a nurse, become a doctor, become a lawyer, but no. It's because they don't understand. And when 3 years ago, DND funded a little study to understand why women were not engaging in cyber defense, and the study was given to Kalyan and a veteran-friendly transition program, which Willis led this discussion. I was so surprised. Everywhere we went to, we asked, do you know what cybersecurity is? Why are you afraid of cybersecurity so much? See, women, we are nurturers. We raise the family. We protect the family. And that's what cybersecurity is. See, I explain cybersecurity career being a family-friendly career. You just need to understand why. And that time when I started the journey, only 10% of women were engaged in cyber defense. Today, we see 20% women are engaged. And I wanted to make sure that we entice, we encourage, we empower women, more women to enter. So I know one thing very well. Put your money where your mouth is. I said, other than wait, wow, how they're going to fund this, what they're going to do. For Willis's 150 years celebration, I wanted to do something for the community. I said, what am I going to do? So I started establishing scholarships. I established scholarships for women in technology and for military spouses. Women in Technology Scholarship is, we have a board of scholarship board of trustees. All the entire application is on Willa's website. And once a year, scholarship will be fully paid. Fully paid scholarship will be awarded to one woman. Our scholarship recipients are so amazing. They're actually acting as role models. And on Willa's website, there is a video that we created. We had to give back to what we found at D&D, and we created a beautiful video when scholarship recipient talks about how this scholarship benefited her and what is she doing now to give it back to the community. So it's very important to have access to the education, important to have access to the funding, and it's very important to make sure that women understand they have a big role to play to protect our country and our families.
Well, thank you for that. Thanks. I'm going to go to another question here about ethics. The question is what prominence are ethics in the classes given the curriculum that you've lined out and for cybersecurity in general?
One of the best books that I read was Dr. Hazib's book called Cybersecurity Leadership. So non-technical, it's a basic language explaining people how you become a leader. Word ethics cannot be taken out of equation. Because if you're working with the cybersecurity, ethics is first thing that should be considered. 5 years ago, when we developed the cybersecurity program, I asked question, cybersecurity in education, do we know who we even training? I did not want to repeat what happened to 9/11 when they trained people how to fly just to destroy the buildings. So we started looking into that. What can we do? How do we know who's registering? So I applied to become security clearance house. And actually, Willis is a cybersecurity clearance house for only the beginning part of it, not a secret clearance, basic skills. So at least we could check the background of the people who were registering for the program. Once they are in a program that besides the technology teaching, besides teaching them technical side of it, we teach them lots business side of it. How people will be trusting their ethics, what they should do, how should they communicate, and constantly update their skills to be more knowledgeable, to be more cautious, to be kind. Believe it or not, kindness is a part of everything. You cannot get too headstrong about it. Well, now I know how to do this, therefore everybody has to listen to us. So we deliver a lot of seminars. We have a lot of guest speakers, and people are attending. I'm actually one of the founder of Ottawa Cybersecurity Meetup as well, and that organization, we provide monthly meetings. It's just amazing, amazing organization. And we're not making it mandatory for our students because you cannot make it mandatory, but encouraging them to attend, to network with people and find out how they can become a positive member of the organization. Because when it comes to the employment, it's two ways. Nobody's doing a favor. They need somebody to work, you need a job. But it has to be some type of respect. It has to be understanding, and it has to be making sure that people understand do's and don'ts. We also deliver comprehensive career preparation courses, and students are learning besides how to write a resume, how to answer the technical question, how to work with people, what to look for, what's not. Because sometimes organization will hire you even though you don't have a great technical skill, but you have the awesome human skills and you are learnable. And if you demonstrate that you are learnable, they'll create a position for you. So it's very important that you combine technical skills with human skills, with the business skills and employability skills together.
Wow, that's fantastic. And it is so true that the demand for cybersecurity professionals is just huge in government and across the the Western world. So we have a question here about you're talking about cybersecurity professionals, but of course, you've also made the point that everyone needs to think about cybersecurity. It needs to be broad. I'd like to ask you about what are the basic skills that you think everyone should have in the 21st century? What are the things that, whether or not you're in the cybersecurity profession or in a technical role, what are the basic skills that everybody should have?
It's funny that I've been asked this question before too, when I was presenting in Singapore, and I had my subject matter expert. Right, I said, it's too technical. I said, I'm not going to repeat this. It's lucky I have this with me, so I can actually answer what our subject matters have responded to this. I have heard cybersecurity experts say, if we can just get people to stop clicking on stuff, it would be a lot more secure around here. I actually asked, what's a clicking? Well, now you're clicking everything. You have a social media, you click. You open the message, you click. So that became a clicking. But seriously, there are a number of basic skills people can embrace to become more cyber secure. Become a continuous learner regarding cybersecurity. Research what the current cybersecurity threats are so that you are aware of what to avoid. See, ignorance is the biggest problem. You need to understand what it is in order to come up with a solution. Ask cybersecurity experts what you should do. Don't be shy. You can Google search on cybersecurity threats and best practices to learn more. I find that the biggest challenge with people, we are so embarrassed to admit we don't know. When somebody tells us something, we just nod, but we really did not understand. So we cannot take chances in cybersecurity. You cannot be shy or thinking, oh, if I say I don't know, how are they going to think about me? Ask. Stop clicking on things. Avoid clicking on the links in a website that are not absolutely familiar to you. And check emails to make sure they are absolutely trustworthy before clicking an attachment. And those things are so, so true, but so difficult today because hackers make it very trustworthy, or they're very ethical, very doable to do it. Do not do anything on public networks that might reveal personal information. Don't do banking and etc. Using the free Wi-Fi that is available. You can install a VPN on your mobile phone, which will make a free Wi-Fi secure if you have to use it. Use strong complex passwords and use different passwords for each of your different security situations. Your banking password and your login password and your home internet password should all be different. And be very careful what personal information you reveal on the social media. Identity threats can happen from somebody gathering up enough personal information about you from social media to fake your digital identity.
Those are fantastic. I have to stop clicking on things, I guess, when we're going live. So there's also a question here about prevention. So the question is, we learned in the last 2 days that prevention is the best strategy. And a lot of these basic skills that you've mentioned harken on that. The question is, the questioner wants to know, is there any cure for people affected with cyber fraud? And how do we integrate this into cyber learning programs? Is it clear?
Yes. This is actually a very good question, excellent question. I remember one of our subject matter expert, Rob Wilson, was giving a seminar to Singapore talking about it. And I was actually asking some of the questions myself as well. And I said, if somebody asks me those questions, how would I, who are not technical, be able to explain to them? And that's why we're now offering free webinars. We're offering, if anybody would like to have Rob present them or demonstrate some of the very critical and the technical questions, we are more than happy to do so. And in a classrooms, instructors talk very much about it as well. See, besides the regular curricula that comes from the certification board, it's very important that the instructors are able to share some of the human levels of it, and for not only to share, but for them to understand what it is. So again, if anybody is interested, what I'm going to do, end of it, I'm sending you the presentation of the event, and if you would share this with the viewers, they will see more answers about, more technical answers about it.
Fantastic. And we can include the link to the Prezi in the thank you email for the registration to this event. So we'll definitely do that. By the way, a few of the questions that have come in are sending virtual hugs to you, by the way. But here's a question. It says, thank you for the presentation. Given the current situation we are living due to the pandemic and the constantly changing landscape of cybersecurity, does Willis College or others offer cybersecurity programs online going forward? So not maybe a full-time chunk, but an online small course that people can take to upgrade their skills.
Absolutely crucial and a very important question. You know, global disaster is the mother of invention. When COVID-19 hit, it was when March, we were affected like everybody else, and we were caught off guard that what are we going to do? But luckily that time, students were on the March break. That time, only 10% of our cybersecurity analyst curricula was online, because we were planning to do this, but we were taking our time. Because we have access to the cybersecurity experts, dedicated curricula developers, and committed people who did not get the March break, they worked day and night, we managed to put entire program online. And by the time students came back 2 weeks ago, they did not miss the one day. So even now, our CSA program is online, and the Willis Online College actually provides this program throughout Canada-wide. What was very important when we're talking the human side of the COVID-19 is how leaders handle the situation, because we were all scared. We are people, we have families, and we were worried what we're going to do, what's the future, what's the point of the continuing working if we all going to go. So I must give a kudos to my partner, Henry Devlin. What he did is introduce Zoom. And at that time, I had no idea what Zoom was. I said, Zoom? Is it going to be dancing? What are we going to do? And through the Zoom, we had to all learn how to use it. We conducted weekly meetings with our staff and going in a classroom with the students, just giving them updates, what's going on, asking them how they were doing, reminding them that, you know, we are all in together. Together, we can handle this. The comments I got back was really touching. It was not technology, it was not Zoom. It was the kindness. That time, people needed kindness. People needed to come together. People needed that virtual hugs. And people just needed to know somebody cares. So that helped our students tremendously. The satisfaction of our students going in online learning, but our online learning is fully instructed. There is a benefit of online learning because it's recorded as well. And when you're at home, if you had your baby was crying or something was wrong and you could not attend the lecture, you could record it and repeat it after. So it actually became a blessing in the sky. That's why if you use a disaster as creating something new, how probably the world survived. COVID-19 is not something that it's happening now. It's happening throughout our history, human history. It's just how you're going to react and what you're going to do. We created learning management systems. We created, which I had no idea, but now I know what a Moodle is. I thought it was some kind of food. We create the Moodles and we create the access to the for students to access that entire learning. So yes, everybody right now, that nobody's in school. Everybody's doing online, and it's provided right now in Ontario, because Ministry of Ontario did not really support online education, but other provinces do. Like in Manitoba, they actually approved. And when I say not approving private career colleges, I'm not talking to the public education. So through the Manitoba Ministry of Education, we now able to develop the CSA once it's approved and once it's on go throughout the country.
Fantastic. Well, one question did roll in, whether the programs are available en français. Are there French language programs for francophones by Willis College or others?
Well, again, it all depends on the instructor as well, because as you know, in technology, everything is the basic terminology is in English anyway, right? So we're working with the KPMG, because when we got the contract for the Canadian Armed Forces, we offering bilingual to the military, but in classrooms right now, it's in English. It all depends if the request will come. If we get the major contracts, it has to be. That's not going to be a problem. But currently, for a regular public, it's in English.
Thank you. Excellent. Well, Rima, an amazing presentation and great questions that have rolled in. I couldn't ask them all, so I'm sorry to those of you that posed questions that we couldn't get to. But thank you so much for that dialogue. Rima, are there any thoughts you'd just like to leave with us in closing? Any remarks you'd like to say before we end the session?
First of all, I wanted to congratulate you. I have been attending a lot of international events, and I was very impressed, one of them with the Singapore and the Philippines. But your lobby, virtual lobby, it's amazing. Amount of work you guys have done to provide this event is really heartfelt. It's beautiful. We need to continue events like this. Events like this, only way we can make a change when people come together. If not this event, yes, we know about it, but we all go to our home and get back to our daily lives, so we forget the importance of it. But that is, events like this brings us together. So not everything was bad with the COVID. That forced us to do the connections and networking and understanding and learning. We need to continue learning. Learning is the key, and you are in the heart of the in a schooling system where you do this very well with the Digital Academy. So and collaborate together. I love to collaborate with you. I love to see that, because my biggest hope, I want to see Canada on the top cybersecurity hub list. I was very heartbroken when I didn't see Canada name. But together we can do it. I also wanted to thank each and every one of you, all your viewers, and wish you very happy Thanksgiving weekend. It's going to be different, but just embrace it. Let's enjoy it. I wish you safe and healthy life.
Thank you, Rima. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for participating today, and thank you for your candor and all of your remarks. Notwithstanding what you said, I think I consider you an expert now in the area of cybersecurity. So thank